Alrighty, hello, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing so good. I appreciate you asking. This is long awaited. I am super excited to chat with you. I am very impressed by your professional experience. So I would love for you to touch base on your experience and just tell me a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Certainly. So some of my greatest accomplishments was when I started working with our club, they had a huge deficit ranging between 67 to 76 hard to fill roles. And so I had to come up with a SOP because we were doing onboarding Monday through Friday and it was taking up all of HR's time. Um, we implemented group onboarding. We created a PowerPoint process that would give them the basic rundown, who to contact in case they needed something, as well as made all of the paperwork electronic. So we purchased some laptops, and we did in-house fingerprinting, which actually brought the company close to $762,000 of savings. Yeah, yeah, that was incredible. I didn't even realize at the time that it was going to bring that much back, but it did. Um, I was able to get those hard to fill roles by um, cold calling, going to all the colleges, attending their events. I know a lot of the presidents from every college in Pinellas as well as in Tampa. I also am big in the community. I attend all the city council meetings. I know pretty much everyone by name. I like to stay engaged. I helped the Salvation Army this year give away more than 1,300 meals. Um, yes, so engagement in the community is great. I also allow my employees to come in and spend. I have an open door policy where they can come in and chat and discuss certain things that they may need. Because you have a great employee, all of a sudden they start coming in late or they're missing work, and a lot of people just automatically start that process of verbal, written, and you need to know your employee. You need to let them know, hey, you matter. We know your name. We know you have two kids, a wife, a dog, and then figure out what's going on, help them the best way that you can. And it usually helps with retention. I will say that I follow them throughout their first year. I do all their evals, full cycle, full life cycle. We celebrate their birthdays by giving them a little something. And we also play a game on Fridays called Cahoots, which engages every single employee because it's done on their phone. It takes about 5 minutes away from work, but it's like, tell us something about the C-suite that no one else might know. Like who's the oldest employee? How long is, how many kids does the CEO have, like things like that. It gets them involved. They feel part of the team. And even though money is where a lot of people think it lies, it's not only about money. You can pay someone top dollar, but if they're not happy, they won't stay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that part. And that was a great introduction, Adrienne. And thank you so much for sharing those details. Absolutely. Now, I do have just a few questions for you as well. Now, you mentioned, and kind of stuck with me, but you mentioned speaking to your employees, right?
Yes.
Even before it gets down to you having to do the coaching or
Yes.
having to do any other type of warning. So
Right.
how do you typically handle a long-term employee who is perhaps consistently underperforming?
So one of the things that I find is I'm a very hands-on. So I go to the site where the employee is at. My last job had 54 sites. I tried to make monthly rounds just so everyone could see me, just to stop in and say hi so that people get a comfort zone with you, correct? Right? You want them to trust you. So I happened to get to one location. There was no paperwork stating this employee was never meeting their goal, stating this employee was constantly having other employees help. The director was staying late to finish their work, not even their own work. So I asked her, have you sat down? Have you talked with them? Maybe they need retraining. She said she had tried to approach the young lady, but there was a lot of hostility, like tenseness in the conversation. So she felt like she just cut it short and just asked me if I could please maybe sit and talk. So I did my rounds, got to her station, sat with her, asked her how things are going. And she said, I am really struggling to understand the processes that are here. She says, getting through the paperwork takes up so many hours that it pulls me away from my actual time with the children. And we were using a government program called STEM, and it is very uh, inclusive. It takes a lot of time. It's very important for that program for you to be truly divulged with it. So I said to her, so what part of your paperwork is taking the longest? So she went and got paperwork. There was no organization to it. There was just like, it looked like someone just ripped out a bunch of pages from a notebook. Yes, they were very wrinkled. So we discussed, let's tidy up your area. What is it that you need to tidy up your area? So she asked for a file cabinet. She asked for, just some hanging, some pretty color coordinated. And so we did that. I set it up with her. I came back a week later with all the stuff. We set it all up. I told her, you are right now borderline poor performance. However, you are great with the kids, you're great with the families, everyone loves you. The principal says that you are always cheerful. We just need to get you on point. So I would put her on a PIP. We did put her on a PIP. And I explained what a PIP was to her, that it's not something that's a punishment. It's just to get you where you need to be. And it is written statement so that we can see how far you've come along, and it's something to be proud of at the end. So 30-day PIP, I can tell you 30 days later, she had did a complete 360.
That's incredible. And the impact that you made just by simply going and say, how can I help you? Not
Yes,
what are you doing wrong? What this is
yes,
the issue, and you were there to support. So I love that story. It's such a great
thank
testimony
you.
to you and how you support your employees.
Yes, yes.
So I know you mentioned, Adrienne, in the beginning of the call, or I'm sorry, not the beginning of the call, but we were before the recording, you mentioned that you also handled payroll. Can you tell me a little bit about that and the systems that you've also used for payroll?
Absolutely. So my favorite system for payroll is Workday. It does a lot of the work for you. But what I like about Workday is that it actually can run a program report and tell you who's missed a punch. Bamboo HR does the same thing. Prism HR does the same thing, and so does ADP. Paycom, Paylocity, Paycor takes a little bit more detail. You got to tweak it a little bit, but they still pretty much all run the same report. So you'll find out when you have over 50 sites who's missing an in punch, who you've seen on the floor, but they don't have a punch for that day. And a lot of time the directors of each facility will say, it's not my job, it's the employees. If they miss the punch, I'm not going to remind them, because we use geofencing, right? So geofencing keeps you the ability clock yourself in and out. You're responsible. So I created a mass email, and I would send it out 2 days before payroll closed to the employees. It went directly to their phones because we paid for their phone stipend. And it basically let them know, hey, please double check payroll. You might be missing a punch. So now everybody's like, is it me? Did I miss a punch? And it improved. We probably had about, I don't know, 5 hours of fixing payroll, and it went down to about an hour.
Oh, how
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, it really did. And that was with over 3,000 employees.
My goodness, you definitely streamlined that process and made it
Yes.
easier for everyone involved. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely cut down the time too, within the 4 hours in total. So
Yes.
how
And that
incredible.
equates to a lot of money when you think about the 21 employees that I have
Yeah.
working, 4 hours of pay. that they are doing on payroll. It's a waste of
That's right.
their talents. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Now I just have two questions for you here. So as
Certainly.
far as any time off that you're going to be having within the next 3 months, do you have anything in place that we should know about at all?
I honestly, it all depends. So I have no vacations planned. I have
Mhm.
nothing like that. I do have, your regular annual stuff, but they are
Sure.
like usually early in the morning,
Yeah,
and nothing is that would require like a full day off. I know most jobs are pretty flexible as long as you do your 8 hours,
that's right.
which I don't think I've ever worked an 8 hour day. I think I've always worked a 10 to 12 hour day, but yes, yes. So, until the job is done,
Yeah.
then you leave. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Commitment to its fullest.
Yes.
And then my last question for you is, as far as starting a new role, when were you looking to start?
So to be honest, I just got back from New York on the 3rd. I really am hoping to find something in January.
Sure.
Yes.
Perfect. So
I'm
within the next 2 weeks or so.
Yes, I'd love to start ASAP. I mean, if I could, because spending 6 months in New York to help a family member who was ill has kind of diminished my savings just quite a bit. So I just need
Yeah.
to get back to work. So
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that with me and letting me know, as far as when you're going to be starting. And I'm super excited to just help you with your journey.
thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
you're very welcome. But it really has been a pleasure speaking with you
You as
this
well.
afternoon.
You as
Thank you
well.
so much. I am going to conclude the interview. If you don't mind, stay with me on the line. I want to chat with you really quickly.
Okay, certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you.